everyone, and welcome to today's craft video. And I finally managed to start my miniature coastal village scene, and the first thing that I started to build was the lighthouse. I don't have a picture of it up to now as it's only halfway complete. This is part one, but the second part will be out on Wednesday. So I'm going to be using a lot of the lollipop or popsicle sticks. I get mine from Poundland. You get 100 in a pack, and also you'll need some matchsticks. I get these from Poundland as well, and £1 a pack. Up to now I'm only using 2 packs of the lollipop sticks. I'll probably be using some more in the future, and you'll also need some A4 card. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark off the round edges off one of the lollipop sticks, and I'm going to use a pair of wire cutters to score where I need to cut, and then use a pair of scissors just to trim off the excess. And then I'm going to use this as a template for the length that I need the other sticks to be. So I'm just going to place that on top of another stick and just mark with a pen, and then cut off the ends in exactly the same way. So now that I've got 2, I've worked out how many of these that I need to do, and I'm going to actually be doing a total of 36. We'll be doing 6 sets of 6 sticks, so I'm going to do them in exactly the same way. I'm just going to take the first one that I measured and cut, and then use that to pop it on top of another stick and mark with a pen, and then score and cut them to the same size. And once I've done all 36, I will be back and we can get on to the next part. So I've got my 6 sets of sticks, 6 sets of 6 sticks, and I'm going to glue these together. So I'm taking a full stick, I'm just popping a little bit of glue, and then I'm taking one of the ones that we've cut to size, and I'm gluing it halfway in between the other sticks so that it doesn't overlap, and that when we glue them together it'll all fit together nicely. So then I'm just going to glue the other 5 sticks into place, but I'm just going to put the first 4 in place, and then I'll trim the excess off the vertical sticks before putting in the last one. So then now I'm just going to trim off the excess, only leaving a small amount so I can just glue it in place. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with the other 5 sets of 6 until we've got all 6 pieces like so. So now we've got our 6 sets of 6, we're going to glue them together. I'm just picking the 3 best ones for the front and then leaving the other 3 for the back. And then once I'm happy with the ones I've selected, we're going to start to glue these together into the shape that I want. So I'm going to start by gluing one to the side of the front piece. And then I'm going to glue the other one on the other side. And then I'm going to take the other 3 and do exactly the same. And then we're going to glue the 2 sections together. like so. So I'm just marking the fronts with a pen, and so I know which is the front and which is the back. And yeah, we can get on to the next section. So we are going to cover the joins with some more sticks, but we'll do that later on, so don't worry too much about any gaps that you've got. So we're going to start the middle section now, and I'm going to take a stick, and it's the right length, so we just need a full stick, and then we're going to form a bridge. So I'm going to take one vertical stick and two horizontal sticks and glue them into place, again into the center, so they're not right to the end, and then we're going to glue some more sticks until we get near the end, and then we're going to flip it over and add another two sticks. And then I'm going to use the base that we've created, so I know how far we need to go, and we're just going to carry on adding sticks until we get near the end. And then once we're near the end and you know that you've only got one more stick to add, I'm going to just trim off the excess and then glue the last stick in place. Again, you only want to leave a small amount overlaying so that we can just glue the last stick in place. Like so, and then we can attach that to the base. And I'm just going to use some glue at the top and at the bottom. And now we can fill in the sides. So now we can work on the sides. I always keep my scraps in a different bag from my main one, so I'm going to be using some of my scraps, but we're going to fill in both sides, and we're going to start from the center, and I'm just going to take a stick and make sure that the curved end is overlapping the center ones that we've just put in place. And this is so that we can stick it to the center, and then I'm taking a pen and just marking where we need to cut. And it doesn't matter about it being terribly neat, as we're going to be covering these with other sticks. But I'm just going to cut off the excess. And then glue that into place. And then I'm going to fill in both sides in exactly the same way. I'm going to leave the very last bit though right in the corners, because you're not going to see that once we cover it. And I will be back once all that is done. So now we're going to cover the bits that we just glued in place, and I'm going to start in the center, taking a full length stick and then just marking the end so we know where we need to cut the excess off. and then gluing that into place. Then taking another stick and again holding it in the center and marking off the excess where we need to cut. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. So now that the two sides are done, we can add the center sticks. So I'm going to glue a full stick, 5 sticks from the top and 5 sticks from the bottom into place. And this is going to create the base of where we're going to put the lighthouse. Like so. And now that they're stuck in place, we can start to work our way around the outside. So I'm going to do the sides first. I'm going to take a full length stick and glue that in place. And we're just working our way around the box or the base. Then I'm going to do the other side. And then I'm going to do the back. I'm going to leave the front because we're going to be doing some steps at some point, and obviously I don't want to have one stuck at the front. So for now, I'm just going to put the one at the back. And then we can just tidy up the sides by adding some more sticks. So now we're going to glue some more sticks around the sides. We're going to leave the front, obviously, because I've just mentioned we're going to have some steps, but I'm going to start at the sides and I'm going to glue a stick in place just to hide where we did the joins. And I'm going to do the 2 sides first on each side and leave the back till last, because we're going to have to cut the last one that we put at the back because it's going to be a little bit too long. So do the sides first. So now both the sides are done. I'm just going to add the last one onto the back, and I just need to cut off a little bit on either side of the stick. And once that's glued in place, we can actually start on the lighthouse. So actually, no, I got a little bit ahead of myself then. We're going to add the sticks to the sides. So all I'm going to do is take a stick, hold it into place, mark off where we need to cut with the pen. Then cut, and I'm going to do that all the way around, including the fronts as well. So now the base is completely finished, except from adding the steps, which we'll do at the end. and yeah, we can start to build the lighthouse. So for the lighthouse, I'm going to be using some A4 white card for the base, so it's easier for us to glue all the sticks to it. So I'm just taking it in the landscape side of the paper, and I'm going to just be folding that in so it basically sits in the center of the square that we made in the base. We want it to be slightly cone shaped instead of just a circle cylinder. So I'm just going to try and get it to the shape that I want. This was the trickiest part actually out of all of it, to be honest, trying to get the shape that I wanted. But the reason that we'd made the square base is we're not actually going to be sticking the lighthouse to the base because we want to put a candle underneath it. So we want it to sit nicely in that square that we made with the sticks. So once you're happy with the shape, I'm just going to use some hot glue and glue that down the back of the cone that we've just made. And then once I've glued it all, now that it's in a cone shape, it means that the edges of the paper are no longer straight. So I'm just going to use a pair of scissors and just trim off the excess card at the top of the cone. As you can just see there on the camera, it's not completely straight at the top anymore. So yeah, I'm just going to use a pair of scissors and trim off the excess. So I'm happy with it. The edges are straight. I'm really happy with how it sits in the center. And now we can start to add the detail and the stick. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 matchsticks, and this is going to be the frame for our doorway. And I want my door to be the height of a matchstick, so I'm just going to hold it in place and just mark on the card where the top of the matchstick is with a pen. And then I'm just going to grab another stick and hold it in place and then mark where I want the other stick to be for the side of the doors. So once I'm happy with the width and the height of the door, I'm going to just glue the 2 matchsticks in place, just using some hot glue. And then popping the other one in place. Like so. So now I'm going to take some lollipop sticks and we're going to glue them all the way around the side, and I'm going to hold it at the side of the door frame at the same height, and then I'm going to mark with a pen where we need to cut. And then just trim off the excess and glue that into place next to the door frame. And then I'm going to start on the other side as well, and I'm going to work my way all the way around, but I'm going to start from both sides of the door and work my way to the back, so that if it doesn't join, it's going to be hidden at the back, which it doesn't, but I've got an idea of covering it once it's completely decorated, so it's not going to matter too much. But I've gone all the way around, and there is a little bit of a gap, so I'm going to just put a few matchsticks in just to hide it. But then I decided I was going to do something with it later on, so it doesn't really matter if there are some gaps at the back of the lighthouse. It's because it's in a cone shape and it's no longer in a circle, so it means that there will be gaps. So I'm just going to take a matchstick and pop one across the top of the doorway as well, just to finish the door off, and then we can get on to our next section. So now I'm going to take some full length sticks, and I'm going to start again at the side of the doorway. And I'm going to glue them into place, and I'm going to glue one each at the side of the doorway and leave the centre above the door blank, because we're going to be adding some windows. And I'm going to work my way all the way around again until we get to the back. And there will be gaps at the back, but like I said, we're going to cover them eventually anyway. So I've gone all the way around and left the centre for the windows. And now we can measure out where we're going to put the windows and cut out the card where we need to, so that when we put a candle in it, you'll be able to see the light through the windows. So I'm just putting it back on the base so I can get a rough idea where I want them to be. And I'm going to add 2 windows in the front section and then one a bit further up at the top. But all I'm going to do is just take a matchstick and use that as a bit of a ruler. So I want there to be a window slightly above the doorway and then one above that window. And we need a section in between so that we can add a stick to secure the two together. So you need about a centimetre gap above the door, then your window frame, then about a centimetre gap in between the first window and the second window, and then obviously there's a centimetre gap at the top. I've used the length of the matchstick for the window frame, so each window is the same length as the matchstick, so that when we build the frame we don't have to cut all the matchsticks down to size. Like so. And now I'm going to cut out the 2 squares using a craft knife. And here we go. So we've got our door in place and we've got our first 2 windows, and now I'm just going to add a small section of lollipop stick across each of the sections that we've got left. So one just above the door. So I'm just going to pop it in place and mark where I need to cut, one in between the two windows and then one at the top as well. So I lost a little bit of the video, but all I've done is added 2 more sticks on each side at the top, and now we're going to add another window as well. So I'm just going to, I've put 2 sticks on either side, and now I'm just going to add another stick and trim off where the top of the card is. And glue that into place. And then I'm going to add another 2 sticks exactly the same, and then I'm going to continue adding full length sticks all the way around the top. So here we are. So again, there are gaps at the back, but like I said, we're going to cover them so they're not going to be seen. But what I've got is I've got a piece of thin wood. It's left over from a puzzle that I got at Christmas, but you could just use a piece of card if you want, and it's just to push out the top sections of the lollipop sticks to hold them into place. So I'm just placing this underneath and I'm just going to push it through at the top. So yeah, you could just use a piece of thick card, just use a circle as a template and cut it out, and then do exactly the same thing as what I'm doing with this piece of wood. Like so, and then I'm just going to add some glue around the top of it to keep it into place. So now we can hide some of the joins that we've got where we've stuck all the sticks down, and I'm just taking a piece of A4 card and I'm measuring a 1 centimetre strip. I'm going to do 4 of these. And then cut them out. And then we can glue them around the outside of the lighthouse. So I'm going to start at the bottom, hiding the first joins that we did. Now these are going to be painted. I'm going to do mine, I think I'm going to do mine red, white stripes. So they're going to be painted, so you're not going to see them, but it's just to hide where all the sticks join up to each other. So I'm just adding a little bit of glue, popping the card in place, and then I'm going to work my way around to the other side. Like so. And then I'm going to do one where in between the 2 windows, and then one at the top of the window as well. Like so. And then I'm going to do one at the base of the top window. And here we are. We're going to attach the top bit, and then I'm going to end the video and do the next part on Wednesday. So I've got a circle template that I'm going to be using, and this is 10 centimeters in diameter, and I'm going to cut out 5 circles and glue them together using a glue stick. And this is just so that the card's a lot thicker. Obviously if you're using thicker card you won't need to do this, but this is the only card I've got at the moment, so I'm just going to cut 5 circles out, cut them out, glue them together with a glue stick, and I'll be back when that's done. So I've got my 5 pieces of card stuck together, and I'm going to glue this to the top. And I've also cut another 1 centimetre strip of card, which I'm going to stick around just underneath this circle that we're going to attach. And then I'm going to finish the top bit of the lighthouse in the next video. I'm going to build the steps and the walkway for it, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what it looks like when it's completely finished. Really happy with how it's turned out up to now. Yeah, I had an idea, like all my ideas, I have an idea and I don't know how it's going to turn out, but yeah, I'm really happy with how this one's looking. So now I'm just going to add the 1 centimetre strip over the top of the windowsill and all the way around.